The Phoenix Mercury, they might be in trouble. They're 2-5. They just dropped a game to the Atlanta Dream, and there's no shame in losing to the Atlanta Dream. They're looking great to start the season. But no, I'm not trying to say, oh, it's time to panic in Phoenix, yo. It's time to panic. I'm not necessarily saying that, but it's not been a great start, and there is a lot to hit on. Of course, they started out the season great with their opening game win, a blowout victory against the defending champions, the Las Vegas Aces, and you saw the emergence of Jovana Nogic, who was like, whoa, who is this player? Kind of came out of nowhere, and I saw a bunch of uh, WNBA fans or experts. Not sure if I want to say experts, but WNBA fans' opinions who I value closely. They looked at what after seeing that looked at what Nogic did in Russia, and I was like, whoa, this player needed to be in the league sooner. So shout out to her, Jovana Nogic, but we're seeing that they had that win, but it hasn't carried over necessarily to other games. And you look at their schedule and the other teams that they played. They have losses to the Valks, the Lynx, the Tempo, the Sparks, and their other win is against the Chicago Sky, which is another good team looking to make the playoffs. The Chicago Sky are they 3-3 right now? But to lose these games, they're just and to fall to 2-5 in a 44 game regular season, it's not good. It's not good at all. I don't. That's hot take. It's not good to be 2-5. Great analysis. Good job, me. Maybe you could say that this is a tough schedule to start the season, and after this game, they're gonna play the New York Liberty on a back-to-back. Then they're gonna play the Lynx. Then they're gonna play the Storm. Then the Fire, Valks again. But this is just not a great start at all. And I think you can go with a fair amount of places. I guess to start, their defense has not been stellar, and I'd especially say so on the perimeter. The perimeter defense has not been great. It's not been super inspired. I haven't loved the screen navigation from some of their players, and so the ball handler can get easier and simpler opportunities. I do want to give a shout out to Natasha Mack, though, who has been great defensively. Natasha Mack has been really, really, really good defensively this season, so I don't want to put too much on her because she is a paint defender, and like I said, I think the main issue has been the perimeter defense. So that's been an issue. Another issue is Kalia Copper has been very inefficient to start the season. This is before the Atlanta Dream game, box score game update. So I think they should improve a bit. But prior to this game being added to her season averages, she was at 18.5 points per game on 34% from the field and 15.2% from 3-point line. 17.7 field goal attempts, 5.5 3-point attempts. You got to give credit to you get to the line 7 times, and everyone's free throw rate is up this season. But once again, give credit to her for getting to the line and shooting 81%. But 34 from the field, 15 from 3. Your effective field goal percentage is 36.3. Am I seeing that right? You're at 36.3 effective field goal percentage. That's not good whatsoever. And the true shooting percentage, even with getting to the line, 7 times a game, is still at 44.6. That's way, way below league average efficiency. And so that stuff, that needs to be better. Now, I'm pretty sure I don't need to tell her that. I think she probably knows that. That the efficiency is kind of inexcusable, but it is, like I said, like 7 games in before this game updates on the box score. So that hasn't been great. I think one of the biggest issues is that she just isn't great at getting easy looks for herself. As oftentimes I feel like she has to make a tough shot over a contest, over the defense, coming off a screen, maybe not the greatest amount of separation, just rising up for a mid-range or for a three. And it's a tough look at the end of the day. And it's a tough look that she can make. But when you're not generating such easy opportunities for yourself when you are shooting from the field, because like I said, 7 free throw attempts is good, that just puts a damper on the effectiveness for your team's offense. Really quick, going back to the defense, I know they are right now missing Monica Kolomakani, who should absolutely help with their defensive issues. And if she slots in and solves all their defensive issues for the team, I'll freaking shut up and be like, oop, well, frick, I don't know. A bird is chirping outside. Kind of loudly. Interesting. What the heck? But like I said, they are missing Monica Kolomakani, and she will solve some defensive issues. I'm just not sure how much she will hide everything defensively for them. Maybe she slots in and everything is solved. Maybe not, but I'd be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge that. Going to their offense, though, and I'm not sure, this might be nitpicky because I guess you could argue that offense isn't necessarily the problem for them, but at its simplest form, it's going to be Alyssa Thomas surrounded by shooters, and Kalia Copper can get a bucket when necessary. With Ka not getting buckets at an efficient enough clip, it's going to be now Alyssa Thomas surrounded by shooters. And so it's going to be contingent on those shooters making the 3-point shots. Whoa, crazy analysis by John Michael. Crazy. Whoa. So that part is going to come down to role player variance. And while Alyssa Thomas has a good scoring ability, she also lacks great scoring versatility. You don't need me to tell you that it's like outside the paint, Alyssa Thomas's scoring threat freaking plummets to an insane degree. Anyone can see that. But you combine that with role players needing to shoot their 3-ball at a good enough clip, with Ka not being great to start the season. You see some worry. You see some. I don't know if I love how the Mercury are doing to start this season. And like I said, this is maybe nitpicky because you could once again argue that it's not. That offense isn't the problem. That it's defense. But I think the offense could be a bit better. I just do think that it's important to bring up, though, that if Alyssa Thomas lacks the scoring versatility and Ka isn't creating at the rate that you want to see from Kalia Copper, that puts a lot of more pressure on the role players on the team to do better, on the Jovana Nokic's, the Dewana Bonners, because maybe this is straight up who Nogic is as a player, but she is a rookie, and she is a veteran rookie because she's older from her overseas career. But that's still a lot of pressure to put on to someone who is new to WNBA style basketball. And like I said, that's just putting more pressure on them, which may or may not be their game, may or may not be what they are comfortable with as players. So if that is not who they are, then it puts more pressure on Alyssa Thomas and Kalia Copper. And that's just a lot of responsibility. That's a lot on their plate. And it's crazy to even think about it like that this is life like this for them, because it's not like Alyssa Thomas has been bad to start the season. She's been good. And you think about Alyssa Thomas as a player, she's one of the best floor raisers in the association. If anything, because there are, I think, legitimate criticisms about the playoff ceiling, there shouldn't be any questions, and there aren't any questions about what she can do, what she's capable of doing as a floor raiser for your team in the regular season. And for the Phoenix Mercury to be 2-5 to start the season, that's not great. And And it's crazy to think about too, because Alyssa Thomas, like I said, has been good to start the season and even had a great game against the Atlanta Dream. And with the benefit of them calling the game how they've started to this season, AT has been getting to the line a lot more. I think, what was she averaging? 8 free throw attempts a game, did I see? And with those added free throws, she's at her most efficient right now. I think she's at like 59 true shooting. So she's been efficient and really good to start the season. And to see the Mercury struggling like they have has been very. It's tough to think about, especially because they are coming off of a season where they went to the finals. They said that, I believe, that they wanted to build this team around Alyssa Thomas, and Alyssa Thomas has. What's her contract looking like right now? I forget, but I think she has a 3-year expensive contract, but it would be crazy to think about this season being a lost season. And I'm not saying this is going to be a lost season. We're still, 7 games into the season, but there's a lot less room for error when there's 44 games in the season. So you got to hope for them that they are able to turn it around. Hopefully Monique comes back. The defense looks a lot better. Hopefully Ka is able to turn it around and not shoot, 46 true shooting or whatever. And you got to hope that someone else is able to, that a third person is able to carry the offensive burden for a stable amount of the season, especially if they want to continue their prospects of being a playoff team. But what do you think? Phoenix Mercury, can they turn it around? Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see.